You know, not counting the Broly movie, I haven't watched a stylized martial arts action movie in quite a while. After one of my many thrift runs, I came across a 2010 martial arts movie by the name of Bunraku, and it kind of slipped through the cracks, mainly due to the fact that it played in the Toronto International Film Festival with a limited US release a year later before completely disappearing from the collective consciousness of pop culture entirely. But after watching through the movie twice, well, once and then having it on in the background while I play Warframe, it's such an oddity that I can't help but talk about it. But enough of the preamble, let's just begin. The story is basically just every Redditor's wet dream. A massive global conflict takes place, one that causes all firearms to be banned. Now humanity has returned to the ways of the blade. Our heroes, a nameless drifter and a soft-spoken samurai, played by singer, acting sensation, and part-time common writer Gact, team up with Woody Harrelson to take on a mysterious gang leader by the name of Nicola the Woodcutter, played by Ron Perlman. And while I could go deeper into the story, there's not really much to talk about in ways of narrative. I mean, there's a bit of a surprise ending with Nicola and the Drifter, but if you paid attention throughout the movie, you'd probably see it coming a mile away. Which I have no problems with, because aside from the few exceptions, most martial arts movies have basic plot lines. And while the fight scenes aren't anything spectacular, I really love the opening fight scene with Killer Number 2. It has this like stereotypical 1930s announcer, and it just really sets the bar super high. And though the action kind of winds down midway through the story, it kind of picks up again near the end. Speaking of the 1930s, I also love the art style and designs of the costumes and the sets. It's this great mix of Art Deco with traditional Japanese. There's also a lot of modern technology kind of like regressed to this old-timey style. Like the characters have these cell phones that have these big wires on them. Just slap a big old antenna on an old-timey phone receiver, and there you go, you got yourself a cell phone. Though there were a few things added to the overall aesthetic that just didn't really mesh too well. Like, there was this one scene where the Drifter was trying to break Gact out of jail. During the fight scene, you would occasionally hear like these video gamey chiptune sound effects during each impact. And the same thing happens in another scene during a car chase. Kind of reminds me of another movie that employed video games and gaming into their action scenes. Came out around the same time, might have heard of it, maybe not. I don't know. It just kind of comes out of nowhere and ruins the overall stage play puppet show style that it was going for. After all, the title of the movie is Bunraku, and it comes from an ancient Japanese style of puppetry, so that's what you're going to expect. So these video game sound effects just feel tacked on. But after everything that's been said and done, how did Bunraku sit with me personally? To be honest, it wasn't all that bad. But it didn't really do anything that I haven't seen before in other movies. And the new and interesting things that it does do, I ended up seeing done better in shows like Into the Badlands. But if you enjoy classic martial arts films and spaghetti westerns, or if you're just a big fan of the show Into the Badlands, and you want something with a similar feel to that, Bunraku is at least worth a once-over. I got my copy for just a couple of dollars, so if you can get it for cheap, definitely pick it up. I mean, there's also sites that you can watch it for free, but I wouldn't condone that, would I? This movie was made around 2010 or so, kind of near the start of the whole superhero movie boom, as well as nerd culture kind of becoming popular in mainstream media. And even though this movie didn't really become a runaway success, the director Guy Mosch just seemed really overjoyed and elated when I was watching the DVD commentary. The way he was just gushing over old movies that inspired him, and how he didn't mind people laughing at the more ridiculous scenes during the screenings. And then he said this.
When you do a risky movie, this is another thing. It's like, you can't take risks and not take risks. You know, I mean, if you take risks, you gotta explore. You gotta go out there. So the movie you're gonna end up with is never going to be perfect in the traditional Hollywood sense. It's not gonna be something that fits into a box, and you gotta dare and do it. And hopefully, the audience out there will appreciate the attempt, enjoy the ride.
This is something that definitely rings true nowadays for movies, where everything's trying to fit a certain standard, a certain box, a certain demographic, causing most content to just feel sanitized at the end of the day. And that's even happening on YouTube right now, with celebrities entering the content creation sphere and well-known news sites being promoted by the algorithm. And even I have this pressure to make my content sound and look more professional and mainstream. And I've tried stuff like that, but I just feel like I'm not having fun with it, and I just end up getting burned out. In this day and age of remakes, reboots, superhero movies, and agenda pushing, it's great to see that there's still just a speck of passion being poured into these smaller, lesser-known movies. And even though we'll never get a Netflix spin-off series, 1,000 remakes, sequels, and a Funko Pop figure of each character, I'm happy to say that this movie reminded me what it means to create content. Something that I've forgotten a long time ago. Well, anyways, thanks for watching, and, like, comment, subscribe, all that other nonsense. I guess this is kind of like a spiritual successor to my Library Finds series, but not really. I don't know, I might do more videos like this. Maybe, maybe not. Anyways, I'll see you guys later.